A young guitar student of mine asked me if I could put a video up on YouTube of the stuff that we're learning, and so I thought it might be a good idea to try and give a an introductory flamenco guitar lesson, um, with the big disclaimer that I don't claim to be by any means a master guitar player, but I do love flamenco very much, and I've been doing it for about 15 years now. And this is by no means a substitute for going to Spain and studying or finding a teacher in wherever you live. But I do think that if I can explain a couple of basic things to people and get them to understand what flamenco is and the path that maybe they should take to learning, then I'd be glad. So I'm just going to put this little 10-minute lesson up on YouTube and see if anybody finds it at all useful or enlightening. So first of all, flamenco is not classical music. It's not Spanish classical. It's not Andres Segovia. Flamenco I think of as most akin to the blues or to jazz, in that it's a music that expresses it's the expression of a oppressed people that have taken both influences from their own roots and the place where they happen to live, and mix them together to form an extraordinary art form. Again, like the blues, where African Americans were able to kind of bring influence of their own traditional musics as well as music that came from the United States, and create this incredible blend of emotional and technical expression. And so in this case, it's the gypsies in the south of Spain who, there's a lot of argument about whether it's more of a gypsy thing or a Spanish thing, and I won't get into that now. But I do think the best practitioners of flamenco, at least the flamenco I like, have been gypsies. Flamenco is a family of song forms, and each form has its own rhythm and structure. And your goal as a guitar player is to learn these different forms, and then to be able to make them your own through the learning the rhythms, carrying the rhythm in your way, but that's faithful to the tradition. And then you learn these things called falsettas, which are melodic variations within the rhythm, and you'll build up a vocabulary of falsettas in the different from records that you'll listen to. Maybe you'll gravitate towards older flamenco or towards more modern flamenco, and you'll learn from different teachers, and you'll build up your own repertoire of falsettas within each form. So the mother of all the forms, la madre del cante, it's called, is the solea. And from what I understand, the role of the guitar initially was just to play the rhythm of these different song forms. And it was basically probably a very simple rhythm, and without any technical prowess or all the things that we associate with flamenco today. But probably, in the early 1900s, a guitar player went home and said, well, maybe in between the singing, I can imitate the melody of the song or make my own melody, and that way, while the singer is not singing, I can be playing something interesting, and that's how the first falsetta was born. So the solea is, like many forms in flamenco, is built on a very interesting and complex 12-beat structure. Somebody once defined flamenco as the art that takes 40 years to learn how to count to 12, because so many of these forms are based on this 12-beat structure. And like many of the forms, the accents of these 12 beats are on the 3, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, the most basic solea that, notice I have the capo on the second fret. That just kind of gives it a little bit more of a flamenco sound and also makes it a little bit easier to play. You might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, again, the way you hold the guitar is very important. You know, some people cross their leg like this. Some people cross it like I do, like this. Some people hold the guitar up like this. But the important thing is that it's, you know, against your chest. It doesn't like go outward like this. It's not sitting down like this. You know, all this is also very important for the health of your hands. I've suffered a lot from wrist pains and hand pain, so I encourage everybody, use proper form, stretch before, don't play too hard. Really important. I had to stop playing for 2 years once because of my hand pains were so bad. So take this seriously. Also because you'll play better if you hold the guitar properly. This arm should be relaxed, and then just be able to come up here. You don't want to be playing over the hole. You don't want to be playing way back here. Although some players like a more trebly sound and play much more back here. You know, this hand should be same in the back and the front here. You should not be having the little turtle head coming out, as the great master Manuel Molina told me. El Galapago, you don't want to see. So again, this is this kind of F shape. 1, 2, 3, and one more time, just with the index finger, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12, and now you can elaborate. This is probably what happened in the history of flamenco. Somebody got bored just playing the most basic thing. So maybe instead of just going that, let's go 4, 5. You can often distinguish the solea by this: 10 and 11 and 12, and you'll hear that, and more elaborate and crazy as you know, flamenco got more modern. But a couple variations on the 10, 11, 12 are, you can go or with a double. Now, one of the more important techniques of flamenco is the rasgueado, which, you know, some people think is just like a kind of flop down with all the fingers. That's not what it is. You have to practice with each finger individually going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with the hand closing. Or some people do it just with 1, 2, 3, 4. I personally play it with 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got to practice it really slowly like that. Don't give way to the temptation of just going like that. Or it's going to sound terrible. Just really even, and then as you speed up, you can go faster and faster and faster until it eventually sounds like this, but always keeping, you know, trying to keep it very distinct. And then you could, to the rhythm we just learned, you can try and apply that to the non-accented beats: 1 and 2, 4 and 5, and 7. So it would sound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just keep elaborating on that. Now, the first falsetto I learned when I started playing flamenco up in Berkeley was a pretty basic one, but a great one to start with. And it went like this: 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 5 E and 6 E and 7 E and 8 E and 9 E and 10, 11, 12. So normal speed would be. Slow. Look at the thumb. So it's thumb, thumb, index, thumb. 1 E and 2 E and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12. Notice I'm doing a golpe, which is a hit on the 12, and that's done by just kind of squeezing the fingers, like there's like a little motion like this. So 10 and 11 and 12. So I'm hitting the B string with with my thumb, and then hitting this with my with the ring finger. So also my nails. Notice I use acrylic nails because my nails are very weak from biting them my whole life. So I go and get acrylic nails done on the right hand every 3 weeks or so. And but you can grow your own. I like to keep them about the length of the finger in a kind of rounded way. I keep the index a little bit longer and the thumb much longer. This falsetta can go into, again, be elaborated some more, and instead of just resolving back here, the second time you play it, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's this chord here, another version of the E at the end there. And then a third variation, which could be played consecutively as a third time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Another falsetta that's pretty basic, an old Paco de Lucia falsetta, is really slow. I'm going to do one more here. It goes like this. You have these three fingers starting on the 5th fret here on the E string, 6th fret on the B string, and 7th fret on the G string. And it's all thumb here. So you do that twice. That adds up to 12. It's a G. Normal speed. At the 9, instead of just doing this, I went a little bit discordant, but kind of cool sounding. Another thing I learned the hard way was I went to Spain after about 2-3 years of playing flamenco, and I wasn't taking these rhythms that seriously. I was kind of being loose with them, and no matter how technically good you are, if you get to Spain and your compás, which is the name of the rhythm, is not flawless, you'll be very discounted as a guitar player. Nobody will take you seriously. So I highly recommend practicing from the very beginning with a metronome. The solea can be played anywhere from 75 beats per minute up to 100, 100, and that's a little fast already. But really, and then I like to play with a metronome that gives me accents on the 6s so that I can know when I'm at 6 and when I'm at 12, and usually I can figure out where I am. But that took me years to find that out and start practicing that way so that my compás would be decent. And you'll often hear people in Spain saying, "Oh, he's good technically, but he has no compás," and it's just forget it. And other players could be not so technically proficient but have great compás or great rhythm, and they will be welcome in any fiesta situation, and people will The other thing, of course, is knowing how to accompany the singing and the dancing, which is the role of the guitar. The solo guitar is is nice, but it's somewhat incomplete. It's much more beautiful to. And so I recommend listening to a lot of Kante. There's tons of great stuff on YouTube, and if you find this interesting or exciting, then seek out a teacher in your area. If you're in LA, you can find me. If you are in Spain, you're really lucky because there's going to be a lot of great players. But if you're in Spain, you're probably not watching this. Anyway, I hope you found this useful.